Hey guys, welcome back to Furniture Flipping Teacher. I'm Lauren, and today I have got an amazing furniture flip for you guys. There's two reasons for that. One is because I've got a mid-century modern dresser that are really hard to come across, and I'm excited to give it a new life. And then the second reason is because I'm going to be using a new paint. Melange, they just released and launched a new line of paint that is called One. So as you can suspect, the One line is an all-in-one paint. So there's going to be that bonding primer in there, there's going to be that paint in there, and there's going to be that top coat in there. Everybody loves a great all-in-one paint, so I'm really excited to put this to the test and share with you how I like it. Let's go ahead and dive into our flip. I'm going to get started by cleaning. So today I'm going to be cleaning with my Sunnyside TSP substitute. I say this a lot and I've still gotten questions about it. Why do I use the certain cleaners that I use? It doesn't matter what cleaner you use as long as you're using a cleaner that has a degreaser so that it can get all the oils and grime that's built up over the years of this furniture. And that way it can just get that right off. So you can use this, you can use Super Clean, you can use Crud Cutter, you can use Dawn dish soap, White Lightning, so many different options. Don't get caught up in what cleaning material you use. So I found this piece on Facebook Marketplace and it was only $80 and it's in really good condition, and so I knew I had to drop everything and head there. It was about 40 minutes from where we live, and Neiman and I hopped up in Felipe and we drove out there immediately. The lady that we met, she was just an amazing lady. She's just a world traveler. She had horses that she let us meet. So it was just an overall amazing experience. And you know, I love meeting people through furniture. It's really neat. And she was wondering why she was getting 100 messages about this dresser and why it was so great. She's had it since she was 9 years old, and she's like a 60-year-old woman. So, you know, I was like, you know, mid-century modern is pretty in right now, and it's coming back in style. So, you know, I'm gonna make it pretty again. It's got really awesome bones, and so she was excited to see that it was gonna go to a good home and get back fixed up again. So it was a fun story. So then once you clean everything with the cleaner, you need to go ahead back and rinse everything off. Okay, now that we're all clean, we are going to need to do a scuff sanding to prep our surface for painting. I'm planning on painting some of it and then keeping the wood tone for some of it. The top is actually a laminate material, so when you've got laminate like this, it's okay to paint over, but you just need to make sure that you scuff it up because it's very, very glossy and smooth right now, so that paint will have a really hard time attaching to it. Even though it's got that bonding primer in there, we still want to make sure that we prep our surface so that we can make sure that one extra step so that it attaches and adheres really well. So as you guys know, I constantly am using my Surf Prep sander, the 3x4 electric ray sander for all of my flips, and I just love that it has that foam abrasive attachment to it. Well, Surf Prep doesn't only have those 3x4 sanders, they've also got orbital sanders, among some other ones as well. So I am gonna break out my orbital sander from Surf Prep, and I am excited to try this out because they've also got orbital sander 5-inch foam abrasive paddings. So there's a couple of things I wanted to talk about here before I sand is if you have an orbital sander already and you're content with it, you can still go and get these foam abrasive pads from Surf Prep's website and use my code FFT10 and you can get 10% off of your order. And then also, if you don't already have an orbital sander or some type of electric sander, the orbital one is going to be a little bit of a more cost-effective, cost-friendly sander than the 3x4 electric ray sander, but it's going to get pretty much similar results. And what I mean by that is just because this orbital sander is so big, the 3x4 really allows you to get into those nooks and crannies, whereas this one, you know, it's still a pretty massive sander, but it's definitely a great starting sander. So I'm going to put this to use today. I've got my foam abrasive pad because I'm going to go for the legs first, and I don't want to flatten anything out with those. So that's going to be able to mold right to the shape of the leg. All right, sanding this base was a little bit tricky. I still need to get into the corners and things like that, but you know, I'm gonna have to do a hand sander with that because those are just really small, tight corners. And like I said, that orbital sander, it works, it's nice, but it doesn't help you get into those crevices as much as that 3x4. I'm gonna flip it back over and we are going to get onto scuff sanding the top surface. I'm gonna take my microfiber cloth and wipe back all that dust that my sander created. You know, I have the vacuum extractor, so it kind of takes away most of the dust, but there's always gonna be just a little bit of remnants that definitely need to make sure to get off of the surface before we start painting. So our last step here is to paint, and we're gonna need 2 coats of paint. And I say last step, but my last step for actually this part of it. I have the drawers over there that I'm going to be working on kind of in between paint coats, and you'll notice also that I did remove the base so that I could get some better angles in those different corners and things like that. So the base is hanging out over there, the drawers are hanging out over there, but I'm ready to paint. So I decided that I want to make this one just extra pristine and nice. So I want to make sure that I don't get paint on some of the areas. And so I'm going to use my painter's tape just to tape off some of those spots that I don't want to get any paint. So on the drawer slide here in the front, I don't want to get any paint there. So as I said, I am going to be using One by Melange Paints, which is an all-in-one. This is also the first time that I'm using Fathom Blue, which is one of their top colors, and it's a beautiful blue color, and I think that this is going to look great with some wood tones once the whole thing is finished. And then I'm using my Zebra 2-inch brush with a smaller handle, and let's do it. Alrighty, we are finished with coat number 1. It was so easy to apply. It's very similar to the regular melange paint. It's got those self-leveling qualities. And so I'm gonna let this dry now, and then we'll come back for coat number 2. So I'm going to be using Howard's Restore a Finish that I also got off of Melange's website, which is awesome because you can go to their website and use my code FLIP10 for 10% off of all products, not necessarily just Melange products. The Howard Restore a Finish, this one that I'm using is a neutral color, so there's no tint to it at all. But what it's going to allow us to do is to just restore the finish. Basically, that's what the name says. So I'm going to be bringing these drawers back to life a little bit. They've got a few dings on them, and I think that this will just really help it bring back to life, and it'll kind of penetrate that finish to bring back that original color. I'm going to be using this steel wool in 000 to apply this Restore a Finish. You don't want to put it directly onto the wood, you just want to put it onto your steel wool pad, and then that way it doesn't penetrate too much on your wood surface. You want to go with the wood grain as much as you possibly can, especially when you're using steel wool. And then I've got the 9 other drawers that there's 8 other drawers that I need to do as well. So I will be restoring the finish on all of them. And then it needs to dry, and then we'll put a top coat on there. So we're gonna let that soak in over here. Okay, all 9 drawers are gonna dry now back here, and then we'll come back probably after the second coat of the paint is done to put a top coat on the drawers. All right, the first coat's dry over here. So I'm gonna take a 320 sandpaper and just give it a nice smooth sanding so that I can get any brush strokes out. Again, this is a self-leveling paint, so there's really not too many, but I just wanna make sure that we've got a really silky smooth surface before we put that second coat on. So now that the Restore a Finish has had a chance to dry now on these drawers, I am going to kind of top coat it with Howard's Feed and Wax. And this is what's recommended over the top of the Restore a Finish. And I'm just gonna apply it with a lint-free cloth, and it'll also kind of shine it up a little bit. This can also be used on the insides of drawers, and I also might use it on the drawer slide so that slides in and out really nicely. It has a very nice orangey smell. This just conditions the wood. You know, wood dries out over time, and so this just gives it that moisture to bring it back to life. Got this little brush, which is also found on Melange's website, and I am going to use this to butter up the drawer slides in here and on the bottoms of the drawers. This is like the perfect size brush for this. Okay, now I am going to take the same stuff, my Howard's Feed and Wax, and then we're going to do the same process on the wooden base. And we're just gonna give that a little bit of moisture and kind of brighten that up as well. We are complete. I like the two-tone wood, and just know that the Howard's Feed and Wax will soak up into that wood, so it won't always stay this bright and this moistured and kind of orangey colored. It will return back to its original color in a few days. So just keep that in mind when you're doing this, but it really rejuvenates the wood a lot. So we're gonna get this over to the staging wall, talk a little bit about the one paint and then just the overall look and of course the numbers. Well, we made it over to the staging wall and I really like how this piece turned out. Let's talk a little bit about Melange's new line 1. It's their all-in-one paint. It makes everything just go that much faster. You don't have to worry about a bonding primer. You don't have to worry about doing a top coat. So this is really, the all-in-one paints have become one of the products that I just love to use the most. All-in-one paint is very convenient and it doesn't sacrifice the end quality of the piece. If you have a high traffic area like a kitchen table or even a dresser that's gonna see a lot of traffic, that you do put one more top coat on the top, but that's purely up to your discretion. So for this one, I think that the built-in top coat is going to be plenty of protection for it. And a couple of reasons why you also might use all-in-one paint, besides the fact that everything's built in, is if you have a darker color, a lot of the times it's harder to not get streak marks when you're using your top coat. Even if you add a little bit of that paint color to your top coat, streaks are very hard to keep away from. And with not having to use that top coat because of the all-in-one paint, that's obviously going to lessen your streak marks because you're not going to be applying the top coat. So just another perk, especially on darker colors. And then if you're using lighter colors, it's also a great product because a lot of the times with lighter colors and top coats, you have to weed out those fuzzies or that just debris that's on there, the dust that gets caught and you can really see because it's a lighter color. So all-in-one paint, amazing. Melange just launched this line of paint yesterday on September 1st and they've got 20 colors in this line. It is $28 for the 16-ounce jar, which I used about half of for this project, actually not even half. So, you know, this really does go a long way. I didn't paint the drawers, but even if I painted the drawers, I wouldn't have used the entire can. So keep that in mind when you're ordering yours. And then also keep in mind that it may be a little bit more pricey than the regular mineral line that they've got, but you're not having to buy that top coat again. So that helps you save on price. As always, you can use my code FLIP10 and that'll get you 10% off of the entire website. If you haven't tried Melange paint yet, now is the perfect time with their new all-in-one paint. Now let's talk about pricing real quick. I got this piece for $80. It was in great shape and I am thinking about listing it around $425 to $450. With this mid-century modern style, I know that I can get a pretty good amount of profit, and then also just the shape that it's in, it's solid wood, it's heavy, so I am confident that this style of furniture is going to go out there pretty quick. I will update you guys over on our Instagram page at Furniture Flipping Teacher once this piece gets sold, and then I'll also put it on our YouTube community post as well as updating the description down below. I know you guys love the numbers side of things, and so do I. That's kind of one of the perks of my channel, is we really like to be so transparent about the profits and the costs and all of that stuff so that you guys have that as an idea in mind for when you are also flipping furniture. Overall, this project took me about 5 hours, and a lot of that time was spent down here on the base trying to remove that veneer with my heat gun, so that was a little bit of a booger, but other than than that, it was a really quick flip. Remember that we have gone down to 1 video a week, so we will see you next Thursday. Be sure to get subscribed. We've got some fun flips coming up for you guys. And also over on Dixie Belle's channel, we'll be over there for our FFT Fridays. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let me know down in the comments what you think of the two-tone look, the two-tone wood look plus the paint color. I'm liking it, but I'd love to know what you guys think as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the flip side.